Hi everyone, it's Rebecca. I'm coming to you from Engineers of Tomorrow, and we thought that it might be fun to share some of the great stories that we are seeing happening all over the world, really, these days, and maybe get you thinking a little bit about what that means for you and how we're coming together as an engineering community. Let me first just tell you a little bit about myself. Hi, my name is Rebecca. I studied chemical engineering. Some of the favorite things that I've done are making Tim Hortons cookies. Not because I worked at Tim Hortons, but because I got to work at the factory where all the Tim Hortons cookies are made in the big machines. And it was a lot of fun making sure those machines were working well and making sure that all the people that are enjoying Tim Hortons cookies were getting those cookies that they so were looking forward to. I also got to work at a factory that made all kinds of different crackers. Maybe you have heard of penguin crackers. They're sort of little cheddar flavored crackers similar to like a goldfish cracker, and arrowroot cookies, and graham crackers like the ones you use to make yummy s'mores. And my favorite thing about that job was that I got to figure out different ways to make that process even better. How to make sure, for example, that as the crackers were traveling along the big long conveyor belts, they wouldn't be falling off on the floor and turning into just waste and garbage that couldn't make it into the packages to make it into your homes. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, one of my favorite jobs, and something that I've been thinking a lot about these days, is that I got to work at a factory that made medicine for people. And the medicine that we made was for people that are very sick. The medicine that goes into the syringe that you would use a needle to give to someone directly. So there was a lot of really neat engineering problems that we had to overcome to make sure that that medicine was safe for those very sick people that were going to be using it. So anyways, that is just a little bit about me and what I love about engineering. But really, the thing I love the most is just solving problems. So every day, I get to use my engineering brain to solve problems at home and at work, and with kids like you too. But these days, especially right now, we've got some really big, complex problems, challenging problems to overcome. And so I know that my engineering brain is really working hard to try and think of ways that I can help. But it's a, it can be a time where there's lots of feelings that go along with that too. So, even me as someone who has done all these interesting jobs and worked in, like, for example, a job where I was making medicine to be able to help people, I still have some pretty big feelings around what's going on too, with the COVID-19 um, uh, virus and all the challenges that go along with that. So you might be having some feelings about, being stuck at home, can't go out and play with your friends the way you used to. I know my own children are really avid sports players. They have their favorite sports teams that they play on, hockey and baseball and soccer and lacrosse, and they're really missing that right now. And maybe you're hearing some scary news and some scary stories about what's going on too. So there's a lot going on right now, and we wanted to make sure that during these times we are searching out the stories that are helping us see how everyone's coming together and how we're learning and moving forward during this time. So let's try it out. I wanted to share some stories with you about how engineers are helping people right now. So to get us started with, one of the stories that jumped out to me as I was looking through all, the news and all the different social media platforms is that engineers are really busy right now helping to design medical equipment. And that's to just help keep everyone, the doctors and the nurses, and even people that are just going out into the community, help to keep them safe and healthy. And also the people that are already sick or have gotten sick, figuring out ways that they can help those people get better faster. So when we, as engineers, when we use the different tools that we learn in engineering school, one of the first things that we have to figure out is, what is the problem? We have to define the problem and make sure that we're really clear on the problem that we're solving when we go through and try and collect all the information, so that we don't make mistakes and maybe get confused or off track, and we're doing what's needed for whoever it is we're trying to help. So the problem that I'm using here as an example from what I've pulled from the news is that there is a shortage of ventilators for coronavirus patients. So that just means we don't have enough of them for people that have gotten the virus and are sick and need ventilators to help them breathe properly. So how are engineers helping? Well, it's pretty neat to see the way engineers are coming together and working together with other engineers and designers and all kinds of different people with different jobs that they've probably never worked with before. In fact, they could be in different countries even, and they're coming together to find a solution. So there's an article that I found, and I've put a link to it here. If you want, you can click on that link and it'll take you to the article that tells you more about the solution that I've put up on the screen here. But they are coming together and using what they have. So another problem that engineers have to figure out is they might have different constraints. That just means different rules, or they might have different materials available. They might not be able to get access to all the money that they need or all the information they need. So those are constraints. So there's these 300, at least it says 300 plus, so probably more than that now, engineers that have come together to tackle that problem using materials that are readily available. So that's important because it makes it so that these solutions can happen quickly. We don't have to search out sources for hard to find materials. And they're looking at making these ventilators with 3D printers and open source hardware resources. So that just means, again, information and resources that are available to everyone. That's what open source means. And the exciting thing here is that in just 7 days, that's just 1 week, they were able to build a prototype that might be a solution to solving that shortage of ventilators. So really exciting to see here how everyone, the engineers and the teams of people that were working together to solve this problem, were able to come together and collaborate so quickly to help come up with a solution. Now, what I really want to do is just kind of get you curious and get you thinking about what this information even means. Maybe I just said some words that you're not sure about. Maybe you're wondering about the different tools that engineers are using. So, you know, what are these 3D printers, and how do they help make the ventilators? What is open source hardware? What does that mean? So I just want you to explore a little bit. Maybe you can get your parents or your friends to help you and just ask questions and do a little digging and see what you can find out about these different tools that engineers are using. And maybe you're wondering what a ventilator is and why is that so helpful? Why is it so important? And what does a ventilator do to help these patients, these coronavirus patients that seem to need them? So just explore, get curious, ask questions. This is a great time to ask questions. We love getting questions because it makes us think, and it helps us. It helps us think in different ways, and maybe it helps us think of things we've never thought of before. And we might not know all the answers either, which is okay too. So we want to work together to find all those answers, and explore and maybe get even more curious. So what's next? Well, that was just one story that I wanted to share with you, just to get you thinking, get you curious. And it was just an example of how in these times of maybe some big feelings that we're having, how we can search out the good stuff, how we can see what we're learning, how engineers are stepping up and working really hard to keep all of us safe and healthy and happy. So again, all I really want you to do is get curious. Maybe you'll start to think about some problems that you think need to be solved. Or maybe you're going to start to see other ways that engineers are working hard to help you or help your friends and family. So share that with us. We'd love to hear more about your thoughts and your questions. And we look forward to bringing you some more good stories about how engineers are helping to be part of the solution. Bye for now.